Okay, here's a video on how to make a data table without the data table tool in Excel, which I have very mixed feelings about. You know, sometimes it's the best thing in life, or not in life. Sometimes it's the best, and sometimes it's the worst. You know, it doesn't work with goal seeks. I assume you do if you've ever tried it. You know, it doesn't work if you have the inputs. Here we have some inputs, and if they're in a different sheet, it doesn't work. And it can really slow Excel down, even if you know, set this thing to calculation automatic except for data tables. You know, I think if I would save this file, uh, well, that didn't work this time because maybe I didn't have enough data tables, but sometimes it slows you down. Maybe this time it didn't. So let's show you how it fixes. Now, what I did is I made a little row start. So I just used the row function, and we're going to start in this row. And then we're going to put another row here, and we're going to end in this row. And then we'll do the same thing for the column. We'll start in this column, and then we'll end in this column. Now, if I press F3, is that right? I can paste a little list of range names. I have too many range names. I have this hate. Ooh, I'm not arguing for range names. The only time you need range names is obviously if you have a macro. So we're going to make a macro with this one. And where's the deferred tax? Where's the tax life? There we go. So, you know, I just used just used the F3 to get all the range names. I didn't have to do that, but we defined these range names. Okay, so we have the column row is the declining balance factor. Column input is the tax rate and the deferred tax ratio. So now if I shade these two, they have to be exactly adjacent, and you shade these two, and then you press Shift Control F3. F3 is, we just need the left column. Then it'll make range names associated with all of these. Okay, now to make this data table, here's the key. One, we use the for and next loops. Two, we use the cells function in VBA. Those are the key things to do. So we're going to redo this whole thing and take the range names we just made and make a data table. Now, the nice thing about this is you could make table 1, table 2, table 3. This could be an index function, and once you've done it once, you can do it. You can redo it. So this is not. It looks very much like a pain in the ass, but oops, I said a bad word, but it's not so bad. Okay, it's pretty bad. But let's see, and I've done this a lot, and I'll probably make some mistakes. So let's just okay, fine. We'll start here. Let's just make a subroutine called table. How about we call it table 1? All right. Hopefully I don't have it defined already. Now what we do is we first go around the rows. How about this? Row could be any variable you want for range, and I hope I said row start to Okay, I hope I did this correctly. Now I suppose we could row start and row end. Okay, and then we'll make another for call equal range. Call, did I call it call or column? Column start to column end. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Then eventually we're going to have a next column and we'll have a next row. Now, whenever we go around the row, we're going to redefine our row input. So let's put range and then let's put row input. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, I should have put this at the beginning. Excuse me for that last problem. So let's put column input name equal range. What did I call it this time? Column or call? We called it call input. Okay, so there we have our column and row. Now each time we circle around the rows, just see the row goes, in this case it's the tax life. I'm going to go from row 1 all the way down to row number 20. We're going to circle around the tax life. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Each time we circle around the tax life, we're going to go up and change the input. So we're going to have range, and we'll put row input name equals, now we put cells, this is where we put cells, we're going to go around the row, that's okay. Now for the column, we're going to put it range column start -1. It's just the column a little bit to the left. Okay, that's a little bit tricky. I know it's painful. And then what we're going to do is when we do when we go around the column, we'll do the same thing. And this time we'll put range column input name, call input name. We're going to change this time the name of that dB factor. And this time we for the row we put, it's just a one above, so we put row start -1, and then we put a comma and put the column COL. All right. So now we've gone around. Now we're changing all this. Now we only have to change one more thing, and this time we just put the output name equal range output. And remember, that's the thing we're looking for in this case. It's the stable ratio of deferred taxes to capital expenditures. Truly an exciting thing to study. It really is, actually. And then we, I need to maybe move this up a little bit. So then we put range cells, row, comma, call. We're going to put those all around, and then we're going to say range, and this time you put output name. Okay. Yes, that's it. And we're finished. Okay, I made a mistake. Sorry about that. But I put had a spelling mistake somewhere in output, and I here's what I did. When we put in the, this had to be the column input that goes around. When you go around row 1, row 2, row 3, that's the column input. And the row input was named here. So now if we want to just run this table, we just, why don't we just do it like this? Of course you could make a button, but we'll just go to the macros, go down to the table, and just press run, and it's going around and around. Okay, and this, I think, does take longer than running a data table with Excel, but it has a whole lot of other advantages. So that's that. We could, of course, put a little button to make this table. Okay, and whoops, and then, you know, once again, if you had a different data table, all you would have to do is change these inputs and rerun the table. That's the big advantage. You could have a whole page of little data tables now. It did take a few minutes to do, but once you get used to it, which maybe I'm not used to it enough, you can really make it quickly, you know. And then the other thing you can do is now this is the I think you can much more easily make a graph because you don't have that horrible little thing in the middle. And here is whoops, the oh, come on, the code. Now, what I'm going to, and finally the file. This is called depreciation functions rather. It's in the, okay, you can find it in the website, edbodmer.com, and you can also find it if you, hopefully I don't have anything bad here, if you use my, oh, come on. Here, if you use the Google Drive thing, you can go and find it in chapter number 1, corporate models, and I put it in, whoops, depreciation. This would be in the depreciation functions. Okay, and that's enough of that video.